Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Jashira. I am an incarnated angel, akashic records reader, and a palm reader. Thank you so much for being here. So just like right now, in my previous videos, I have mentioned that I am an incarnated angel, and I wanted to go into how I came to know that. My goal in telling my story is to help those who relate. And even if you don't really relate to all of this, I hope that I have given you some options that you can use to explore to get to know yourself better. Now, with that being said, I do want to warn you that a few of the options that I personally explored are readings and they do cost quite a bit. So keep that in mind. And also, besides readings, I have also purchased courses. Keep that in mind as well. So this list is not in any type of order, but I really wanted to make this list so you can see that there are various ways where you can start looking into your origins, your soul origins, and even your intergalactic origins if you are a starseed or you feel like you're a starseed. In any case, let's dive right in. So one of the first things that, looking back now, I noticed was actually part of me being an angelic being, an incarnated angel, is that people have always told me that I have a peaceful presence, that they can talk to me without judgment, that silence with me is comfortable, is not that awkward silence you get sometimes when you sit beside someone and they don't talk, or when you stop talking to someone and you just sit there in silence. That's not it. Mine is more of a comfortable silence. I've also noticed that random psychics and sensitive people, whether or not I have asked them to read me, have told me that I have a big heart that overflows with love, that warmth radiates from me, and that I have a healing presence in general. These characteristics are general, so they may apply to other people that are not necessarily angelic spirits or incarnated angels, but it is a good start. So don't overlook it if this or something similar to this happened to you. Now we're gonna go into number 2. This second part or second item I have here may also seem like a very general characteristic, but if you take all of these characteristics together and in the end go for a very deep reading, then when you look back you might actually see the connection. So number 2, I noticed that I've always been attracted to extraterrestrials, starseeds, angels, and magic. And I've always felt that humans and Earth are strange. Especially the trait, well, I mean, for lack of a better word, the trait where I see some humans say something and then they do the exact opposite. I've never understood that. Never, ever, ever. So if you have ever felt this, you might not be from this earth. You might be a starseed or you might be an angelic being. Alright, so now for number 3. Now here I'm gonna start going into readings. For the most part, I have searched for free readings on the internet or free calculations that I can do on my own. For example, number 3 is numerology. I don't know if you notice if you're into numerology or not, but if you go and look up numerology on YouTube, you can find numerologists that explain to you in different videos how to get a certain calculation. And in this case, I went to the channel called Stars Align with Carmen, and I looked into the video titled Numerology Reveals If You're Part Angel and Your Angelic Origins. So she explains there how to do the calculations and everything with your name, and I did that, and it did come up in my own little calculations that I do have certain numbers in my numerology chart that do indicate that I have angelic origins. For example, the number 9 and the number 7 and the number 3. Number 4 in my list, it's another free reading. Oh yeah, before I go into number 4, if you're not satisfied with the free calculations and the free readings that you can find on YouTube, you can also go into their website. They offer personalized readings for individuals. A lot of them do. I know that the ones that I am mentioning here in my video, they actually do that. Maybe some don't, but just find someone that you resonate with, and if you have the money, if you have the time, then go ahead and purchase their reading. All right, number 4. This one I did most recently. It is called a soulcontract reading, the free version, which you can do on your own. This is by Giliana Aken. I hope I am not butchering that. But yeah, this is a free version of the soulcontract reading. The version, again, that you can do on your own. She sends you the instructions with the meanings and the definitions, and you can do your own calculations. In this reading, what you do is you take your name, look up the number version of each letter of your name in the table that she gives you, and then you do some calculations, and at the end you end up with different numbers which represent a certain frequency. So one of the frequencies that I ended up with was the frequency of 88, and in terms of that frequency, it means that I was one of the first souls to volunteer to incarnate on Earth. So this is another confirmation that I am not from Earth. And the other one, the last one we mentioned, was another confirmation that I am of angelic origins. Again, if you want to go deeper into these readings, because you're not necessarily satisfied with these free readings, go ahead and go into their site and purchase the personalized readings. I will leave the links to the YouTube videos or the sites on my description below if you're interested. And now we're gonna go to number 5, which is Akashic Records readings. So for the Akashic Records readings, I actually took the course because I wanted to learn how to read the Akashic Records. At the time, before I realized I was an angelic soul, an angelic being, I thought I was a starseed. So I decided to take the Akashic Records course, and on my final test, which was to read my own akashic records, I discovered that I was an incarnated angel. Of course, I was very scared. I was very scared. I was very shocked. I was like, no, maybe I read this wrong. Maybe I'm just not letting the divine information flow through me correctly. Let me just put this aside. So for a few months, I did put that aside, in terms of in my head. I didn't want to think about it because that really scared me. When I realized that, when that information came true, it scared me. So I put that aside in my head. I did give in my final project. I graduated. I got a certificate. And then a few months later, even though I didn't want to think about it, it just kept coming up. So I decided to purchase a reading with my mentor. And my mentor, my Akashic Records mentor, did confirm every single thing that I had been channeling in my own Akashic Records reading. And that put me into a kind of state of a shock. Part of me was relieved that I didn't get wrong information, but the other part of me was shocked and still a little bit scared. So in the coming months and years, I started sitting down more and talking more to my higher self and asking the question in different ways, which I always got a positive answer to. I've also began to look into other types of readings, like numerology and other types of readings on YouTube, to see if I could just go into, for example, if it was a tarot reading, if I could just go into a random tarot reading and it would say that I was an angelic being, and it worked. It actually worked almost every time. I would click into a random reading that, based on the title, had nothing to do with what I wanted to know. I always got the same answer, that I was an angelic being, that I was not from Earth, that I was very powerful. So slowly through time, I was able to accept that I was an angelic being. And now here I am. Hello. Another thing, and this is the final thing, I think this is number 6. Another thing that really helped cement the fact that I was an angelic being was that when I was reading for certain clients their Akashic records, I realized that maybe about half or a little bit more of my clients were actually angelic beings as well. They could be fairies, or they could be humans with some type of angelic energy in their soul, or they could also be incarnated angelic beings. Besides my clients, I also noticed that some of the people, or a lot of the people that I tended to interact with in the real world, were also angelic beings. For example, I went on a trip to Egypt, I think it was last year, and 2 of the people in my group, I realized, were angelic beings. And I realized this because I was doing free readings for them, and it wasn't the structure reading that I usually do, where I ask certain questions. It was just an open reading, and I channeled whatever came through. And I remember that we were sitting down on the floor, and this other person was sitting in front of me, and the moment I opened their Akashic records, I saw what came to me in my mind was a very bright white light. And I was like, oh wow, what is this? I had never really seen that brightness before. And I started asking questions, and it turns out that this person was actually an incarnated angel. The second person that I realized was an incarnated angel. I didn't realize it at the moment. I didn't realize it during the trip. I realized it afterwards because she asked me for a more structured reading. And I did it. And it turns out that she was also an incarnated angel. So, if you're an incarnated angel or someone who has a lot of angelic energies within you, you may notice that a lot of the people that you interact with are also incarnated angels or angelic beings of some sort. Another person close to me that I realized was an incarnated angel or a person with a lot of angelic energies was actually my mother. So one day I was talking to my higher self, and I asked my higher self if they could relate some information about my mother, because I wanted to know more about pretty much everything about my origins specifically. And my higher self said yes, and I started asking away, and I figured out, I was told that my mother had angelic energies of her own, which was very surprising to me. So, this is the end of the list that I have, this mini list. If I ever think of something else, I might do another video. I hope these resources help you. Even if you're not an incarnated angel, maybe you are a starseed, and these resources will help you look more into your origins. But really, I would say, in my opinion, the best way to actually know that you are an incarnated angel or even a starseed is really to get an Akashic Records reading, or a reading with a reader that focuses specifically on reading the soul. Because even though the resources I mentioned help, sometimes they don't tell the whole story. And to tell the whole story, you really need to look into our soul. So if you're interested, I do Akashic Records readings. I have an Etsy shop. The link will be down below, or you can email me as well, because I also have PayPal. Or you can just find someone, a reader that focuses on reading the soul specifically. Thank you so much. I hope this has helped, and I will see you on my next video. Blessings. Bye.